The main event is Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. And Cody gets a thunderous reaction for his entrance. And then Lesnar is coming out and he's making his entrance and walking around the ring when Cody dives onto him with a suicide dive. And he attacks him with the steps multiple times, chair shots. I thought they were like trying to get blood instantly here with these steps. But that would be later to come. They get into the ring, the bell rings, and Cody starts with 2 disaster kicks. And then a Cody cutter is caught. And we get the first German suplex from Brock Lesnar. And Lesnar then catches him, big fall away slam, just launches Cody into orbit here. And Michael Cole notes that we may never know why Brock Lesnar attacked Cody. It's just going to be one of those questions that we just figure it out on your own why he attacked Cody. We're not sure either.
At what point do we simply say that they never came up with a reason and that this was just bad writing? Can we say that now?
I mean, I think it's pretty lame that we're into the pay-per-view match and we don't have a reason why this happened. Yeah. I mean, you look at so much of this and it's like, if Cody had won this title, like all of this makes sense.
Yeah.
Lesnar beating Omos makes sense. Mm-hmm. I think like business is really good, but I think it's at another level at this point with like the fresh champion who has conquered this big goal, and it's a fresh champion in your company that you're moving forward. And this headlines. This is a very viable championship match that you've got. But I digress. Cody is just getting thrown around here, and we're getting the comparisons to the Brock Cena match from 2014. Cody clutches onto the turnbuckle, which is ripped off as he takes the latest German. We're up to 7 Germans here. And then Rhodes ducks, sending Lesnar into the exposed buckle, and boom, his forehead explodes, and it's all blood coming out of Brock.
Okay, so this was really interesting, and probably the most interesting thing about this match, the fact that we had blood in a match, and the fact that it was allowed to stay on Lesnar's face. In fact, allowed to continue to grow. You had referees that usually like either would stop a match. I mean, we just saw with Finn Balor at WrestleMania, or at the very least put on gloves. And this referee did not even put on gloves until
he put them on later, but he didn't immediately. And I found it interesting because it was the same treatment to JC Jane on NXT when she got busted open on Tuesday. And like, yeah, you're always like the ref puts the gloves on and because they're going to check on it. And that was not the case on Tuesday. And he didn't do it immediately here either.
And in this case, you had Cody continue to work over the cut to continue to, I mean, really, it was like any other professional wrestling match where a wrestler was instructed to bleed and you'd make a spectacle and a visual out of it. So, I mean, maybe I'm sure there's some thinking to like paying tribute to, Abdullah the Butcher in Puerto Rico or something like that for this instance. But I think it's a bigger question of like, has policy changed at all or has it just changed for tonight?
Or is he going to get fined $100,000 like Batista did in 2007?
I don't know. The other thing is, was there a blade or was this Brock, making up for SummerSlam by showing off his ability to open himself?
Well, if it was a blade job, he did a really good job with it because it was not possible to detect. So, I mean, they got a ton of color here on Lesnar. I mean, he was totally, crimson mask from this point onward. And like, the audience is definitely with this, but it was not the heat of earlier. But this is now Cody's comeback after the blood is introduced, and he nails him with a cutter, a disaster kick, and he's going after the wound with punches and hits a Cody cutter, hits a pair of crossroads, and then as he goes for the third one, and Lesnar kicks out of the 2 crossroads. When he goes for the third, it's turned into an F5. Cody kicks out of that one, and then Lesnar goes for the Kimura, and there's a great visual of Brock totally covered in blood, wrenching on the arm with the Kimura. And then Cody just postures up and stacks him and gets the cover. This was around 10-20 or so of the match, and pins him. And this was very much presented like a fluke. He did not conquer this guy. He did not win the war. He just caught him. And this totally screamed 2-match program minimum.
Yeah. I thought it was a really brilliant finish, actually. It gave Cody like a win in the record books, which I think, was sorely needed after WrestleMania, but it was done in a fashion that was not conclusive because Brock was still very much standing. Yet it didn't, to me, feel like it buried Cody or made him feel any lesser, because look at the outcome here. Look at the blood on Brock Lesnar's face. Not only can Cody say that he got a W in the record books, but he bloodied Brock Lesnar and walked away.
This is a lot better execution than Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan last year that did something very similar to this.
Was there blood in that one?
There was not blood in that one, but it was with the submission, and then she ended up pinning her from the submission, and that was not great. And this, I would certainly, just looking at this one, I just don't know if I would have ended the show with this. It just, to me, was not the big climactic end to a show, when this was like, this is match one. That's what this was. It was not your big conclusion. I guess they have their reasoning for wanting to end the show with a Cody win, but man, I just don't think you could have ended the show better than that street fight.
Yeah, I can understand that. I also think maybe, again, the only justification I could see is that they want the guy finishing the show to be the guy that's going to be on TV next. And Bad Bunny, it will likely not have any sort of interaction with the WWE until the next time they, I don't know, do a big stadium show or something.
And Cole says that Cody is back on the road to finishing the story. I thought it was a fine match. It was, I don't know how much of like the all-out Brock Lesnar match you're going to get in 2023. This was kind of my curiosity. And
I don't know how much the audience wants to see that type of match anymore. Like the sort of like, spamming finisher type of match. It almost seems cliche for a Brock match now.
No, I would say like the spamming finisher match is like 6 minutes of like all out that we've kind of got accustomed to. I'm talking about doing like a 20-minute match with Brock. Is that even in? I mean, the rematch will tell the tale if they're going to do like the all out big match. I thought this was fine, but this was far from match of the show. And I had pretty high hopes for this one going in. I mean, it was, I'm not going to degrade it too much. It served its purpose, but this was just to set up the next one.
Yeah, but I thought in and of itself, it was still a compelling match between the two. I thought you got to see, I mean, a lot of it was like Lesnar.
How much did the blood help?
A lot, in my opinion. Yeah, because I was just kind of captivated, just thinking, well, like what's blood is kind of unusual in the WWE, and again, gives Cody a something to actually be able to celebrate, and gives Brock Lesnar a reason to want to come back beyond just losing in fluke fashion. He got busted up, and all the pictures and the headlines are going to be Cody Rhodes bloody Brock Lesnar up and beat him up. So, yeah, I'm very curious to know, like, if the policy's any different with blood, or if it was just this particular night, or if somebody got fined or something. But this was like their way of getting to the next chapter, I guess, in this feud.
Yeah, and that sets up Monday and what you do with Cody in this tournament. Like, it would not make sense for him to not be in the tournament, and maybe you have Brock take him out of the tournament or do something like that, because it would make sense that these two come back with a rematch in Saudi Arabia, and you've got Cody in Jacksonville on Monday, which is interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Post Wrestling and Poison Rana, we are teaming up.
The Forbidden Pour, Post Wrestling and Poison Rana, the same day. If for anyone traveling in for Forbidden Door, we will be literally steps away from the Scotiabank Arena. It is right next door. It is attached to the arena. We're going to have a pre-party. John and Wei, you guys are going to do a podcast before the show, but it's afterwards that the after party is where things are really going to kick off, because we're going to do some wrestling karaoke.
And it's already been promised that a Mr. John Pollock is going to sing All In by Downstate.
Yeah, he agreed. It was in the contract.
Karaoke.
We've been throwing a few parties before, but nothing this big, nothing this huge. This is our double or nothing, really, and we're so excited. This is going to be a blast. If you're thinking about Forbidden Door weekend, now is your chance, because tickets are available now, aren't they, Wei?
Yes, they are right now. Postwrestling.com/live. I'm super excited.